in the world. Thank you for joining me for another edition of the Truth Conductor Show. Man, I got a visit from the FBI this morning about a social media post. At first, when I came, I saw this one Secret Service officer. When I came up, he kept looking back toward the park, like he was looking for somebody. So, I turn around and I'm trying to see what you see. But he was on the phone talking and he was looking, and about maybe 10 minutes after I got there, Tanya, how you doing? Two white guys walk up and said, Mr. Folden, so we with the FBI. We'd like to talk to you about a social media post. I said, what? That shit is real? It actually happens? And they said, yeah. I said you made a post about the tent vigil, and it sounded kind of threatening, and we just want to make sure that that this is not, what's going on, what's happening. So I said, well, when did I make this post? They said on the 9th. Let me go back here. Let me go back. Let me go back and see, can I find this thing? So I told them, they said, hey, I mean, are you familiar with anybody threatening or what? I said, no, I don't. I haven't seen anybody, threat. I said, if I have a problem with somebody, I say something. If I see something that makes me feel uncomfortable, I'll pull the officer by side in a minute and say, hey, you need to check that. You need to check that, because it's just something don't feel right. And man, I'm like, what? Y'all wait a minute. I'm trying to. Now when I want my stuff, it ain't even coming up. But anyway, so I played the video that they was talking about, and they said, well, what did you mean by that? I said, what goes around comes around, cause I said, listen, man, y'all, this guy Brian Glenn. I said, do you know who he is? Yeah, we familiar with him. I said, at first he was acting like, I said, I find it kind of hard to believe. Margie Taylor Greene boyfriend, you don't know who he is? Well, we've heard of him. Okay. And I didn't ask them who reported but they said, this was called to our attention, that you made a post that we want to ask you some questions about. I said, man, I see this shit all the time on social media, but never in my wildest imagination did I ever think it would be something that I would experience. I never thought that this would be something that I would experience personally. Okay, but they sure came. They sure came. They sure came. What's going on? So I'm gonna tell y'all. Listen, that is real. Somebody is listening. I'm trying to get my phone to act right so I can show you the video that sparked their concern. And they said, we ain't accusing you of nothing, and we're not trying to, we're just trying to get some clarification on exactly what it is you're talking about. And I said, okay, well, here's this is what I think. This is, yeah. Now I got it. Let me show y'all the video. Let me show y'all the video that they said sparked some concern for them. And I told them, I said, shit, if you got something, I got something for you to look at. If you really want to, if you really want to look into some shit, I got some shit for you to look into. Let me see here. Here we go. This one right here. This is the video. 40 plus years. This is the video. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me start it over. All right. They moved the vigil. Been here 40 plus years. It's now gone. You know, and some of the same people that are behind this are going to have some issues, and they're going to get this treatment. Be careful what you wish for. And they took that as a threat. They took that as a threat. They took that as said I was threatening. You know, somebody perceived that as a threat. And the FBI came out today in front of the White House. They came. And I told them, I said, I didn't believe this shit was real. I told him, I didn't believe this shit was real. That police be coming up, you know, somebody be coming contact you about a post that you made. But it's real. It is real. It is real. I'm telling you, it's real. Okay, it's real. So be careful what you're saying out there. Be careful what you're posting out there, because somebody watching. Somebody watching. And I don't know who reported that, but somebody did. Somebody did. You know, and I could see where you might think that it's threatening. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. You know, but it's crazy. That's crazy. They got that kind of time that they can come and find little old me. That is crazy. But I sure got approached today. And matter of fact, let me show y'all. I took a picture too. I don't think they were too happy about it, but I did. Let it go right there. Let it go right there. Let it go. I don't think they was too happy about it, but what can they do? Nothing. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's a mute issue now. You know, that issue is closed. So, but it lets you know, man, that people be watching you. You know, a lot of folk that you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You really will be surprised. Okay? Oh, I'm not a doorman anywhere. To my wife's bedroom. That's where I'm the doorman at, to my wife's bedroom. Now, what you gotta say about that? Yeah, what you gotta say about that? Yeah, that's the doorman. That's the only doorman I'm gonna be to my wife's bedroom. Yeah. Okay? Wherever that may be, I'll be the doorman. Absolutely. I'm time enough for y'all today, buddy. I'm telling you, I got y'all today. But no, man, that thing freaked me out this morning. It really did. It really, and Zelensky's in town, and all the traffic is screwed up all over Maryland, DC, and Virginia. Got traffic is backed up. Cause you know, once you cut off a main artery in DC, man, it messes up everything. It just goes everywhere. Tanya, you think that's crazy? That goes to show you, and you know, and you have to wonder, how much of my stuff did they go through? How much of my social media posts did they actually go through? That wasn't the only one. I'm sure they had to sit down and go through some stuff. And the guy said, well, we didn't want to come to your house. We wanted to come down here where you are so we can see for ourselves what's going on. And I was just like, that's the 10th vigil. As far as I'm concerned, I told him, I said, man, if there was something nefarious at that vigil, dogs would have picked it up. Dogs would have picked it up. I said, or the people they would have acted out some kind of way in order to expose themselves. I said, but from what I've seen the 5 years I've been here, I haven't seen a problem. I haven't seen a problem at all. The FBI came to see me today. And these two jokers right here. Let me show y'all. These two jokers right here, okay, came to see me today. You see the guy turning his head because he saw me getting ready to take the picture. And he was like, I ain't trying to be on photo, but that's them. That's them right there. They sure came. They came about a social media post. Can you believe that? I mean, you see this, on social media where people are coming up, especially in other countries where, matter of fact, I don't think I've ever seen anybody in America that's been approached about a social media post. Of course, I don't follow everybody, but I was just like, wow, that shit is real. It's real. But anyway, we into the full effect of the shutdown. And I got to tell you, man, if you don't be trying to get you some avenues of streams of income that's coming in, or some other kind of way that you can make sure things will keep moving. A lot of people don't think they're gonna get caught up in this, but a lot of people gonna get hurt behind the shutdown. And you got politicians that are still getting their paycheck. Now, if the right side of your body or the left side of your body say, oh man, I ain't working with you today. Imagine you got to walk around with only one side of your body working. How effective would you be? Not very much at all. And that's the same thing with the government. If we got one side that is not functioning, then it's going to throw everything off. It's going to throw the whole body off. And see, we need people that can argue, fuss, and fight and still get the job done. Right now, we got people that argue, fuss, and fight and go to their corners. And that's it. They don't care about nobody else but them, and they still getting paid. While they sitting down fighting, see, they ain't concerned about us paying our bills or how we gonna keep our head afloat. They don't care about that. They're not interested in that. The only thing they're interested in is their narrative. And it might not have nothing to do with you, but it's their narrative. And you got too many politicians that are drawing lines in the sand that because that's the way they feel. It ain't about what's good for the people. And if we can get some of these politicians to forfeit their paychecks, maybe, just maybe, we might get something done. But as long as they're getting paid, they can stay out forever, and it's not going to impact them one way or the other. The only people that's going to be hurt is us. See, the American people don't really know how much power they have. They really don't. They don't know how powerful they are. But see, you can see how powerful you are when it comes to negativity, because that'll spread. But when it comes to positivity, see now, well, what you gonna do with the money? See, now you got questions when it comes down to bringing people together. you got questions. And I can say over the last 5 years that most folk are content with the way things are. Because if they wasn't, what's going on, man? How you doing, New York? I got New York, Edward, Tanya. Who is this? Wicked Mon, Carol, Hashim, Kratos, K Clips, Dave Biggs, Big Grizz. Yeah. How y'all doing, man? Thank you for joining me. Most of y'all probably gone now, but that's what we got to do, y'all. We gonna have to. We definitely gonna have to, you know, become conscious of each other. And that's what we're not conscious of each other. We don't take each other into consideration. And we should. But in the meantime, man, I want me a spaghetti dinner. That's what I want. I want me a spaghetti dinner. That's what I want. I think I'll get that tomorrow. Yeah, man. I got these two guys approached me because of a video that I made. I made this video right here. Come on, video. And they thought it was a threat. They thought I threatened somebody, and they wanted to know what I meant by what I said. Because I said, I told them, I said, basically, you reap what you sow. You get out here and you sow some lies. I said, because they lied about it being a national security threat. They lied about the rodents, okay? All of the other stuff, they lied. They told an absolute lie because they didn't like what people were saying at that vigil. And most of it had to do with the Epstein files. Okay? A lot of the stuff that they was talking about was bring back the Epstein files. Where are the Epstein files? See, and you'll never see those. You'll never get to the bottom of that. Them files will never see the light of day. They won't. They'll never see the light of day because it's too many people on there that they have to protect. They'll never see the light of day. And as far as I'm concerned, Jeffrey Epstein could have some plastic surgery and still walking around. As far as I'm concerned, take a look at Charlie Kirk. He ain't even have it. Who say he's dead? They ain't even do an autopsy at all on the body. So who's to say he's dead? Yeah, who's to say he's dead? Because whatever the cover-up is, they didn't do an autopsy. They didn't do a police report. Matter of fact, the police didn't even handle the body of Charlie Kirk. His handlers did. How you gonna have something like that and don't get an autopsy done? How you gonna do that? And you don't even get an autopsy done. It could be. But if you didn't have an autopsy, and you can make anybody look like you can anybody. He could still be around, walking around on an island somewhere. Yeah, Charlie Kirk could be alive and well right now on an island, sitting back watching. Okay? Nothing. No autopsy, no nothing. They ain't do a police report. Matter of fact, let me Google that. Let me Google that. Let me see what they say. Let me see what Google say. Let me see what Google say. Damn, it won't let me search that. Wait a minute here. What's going on, man? What's going on here? Let's see here. Let's see. It won't even let me search it. Oh, it's coming. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Mighty slow. Damn. It won't even let that come up. Am I at work? Yeah, I'm at work. Talking to y'all. It's work. Yeah, this is work. This is work. I mean, I'm gonna restart my phone because this thing won't even. It won't even let you. You can't even. You can't even Google that, man. Anything about it, it won't let you Google it. It won't let you Google it because there's something going on. This is not. And then 2-3 days later, his wife takes on here's a woman with 2 kids, and you gonna tell me that you gonna put an organization before your 2 children, where you become the CEO and the over. Yeah, come on, man. Let me see. Let's see what it say. Um, okay, listen to this. Listen to this. Um, how was Charlie Kirk's body already flown back to his home in a casket less than a day after his death? Could they have investigated his injuries, done an autopsy, or prepared the body that quickly? No. Um, let's see here. Let's see what this lady is saying. And the death certificate was not signed by a hospital. Let's see. Something ain't right with that. Something ain't right with that. Something is not right. Something is not right. All right. And listen to this. And listen to this. And the bullet didn't hit nobody else. It just hit him and stopped. Okay? And remember when they shot at Trump, a fireman was in there with his family. He got the bullet missed Trump and hit that fireman. How come that bullet didn't hit nobody? All them kids that was around him, how come that bullet didn't hit nobody else but him? I mean, seriously, think about that. What? I mean, your neck, that would have tore off his neck. If the bullet going enlarge, hey, come on, man. They say, Charlie Kirk's autopsy revealed no exit wound because the bullet lodged beneath the skin. Really? So he's Superman now. His skin can stop a bullet. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. And why don't they? And if he did have an autopsy, how come it hadn't been released to the public? If in fact he did have an autopsy, why don't you release the results? Just like you begging for them Epstein file. Why don't you ask for the Charlie Kirk autopsy report and see what you get? I mean, that's not a bad idea. Well, I do believe that this kid sold his soul. I do believe that. I do believe he sold his soul, and he got involved in some stuff that later he changed his mind. And that's how the devil works, man. Once the devil gets you in his grips, it's too late. Changing your mind is not going to work. The damage is done. Okay? It's done. And all of the presidential Medal of Freedom and all that other stuff. Come on, man. Something ain't right. Something is not right. Okay? Something is right. But that's what I just came on today, man, tell y'all. I got a visit from the FBI today. I got a visit from the FBI about a post I made about the tent visual. And they came to see me, And they were some nice guys too. They weren't nasty. They weren't nasty. They weren't rude. None of that. But they came. They came. They sure came. They said if it's reported to us, we have to investigate. And I'm like, man, Nicole, I had a post on social media about matter of fact, let me pull it up, about this tent vigil, and somebody reported it to the FBI that I was threatening. Sound like I was making threats. Okay, and they just wanted to know if I had any information about somebody wanting to threat or want to do some violence, or if I knew something. And I'm like, man, I don't know nothing. And if it was something that I was uncomfortable with, I'd speak up. I have no problem speaking up. And this is what I told the guy. I said, you obviously don't know who I am. Okay? Okay? No, seriously, man. They came. I'm going to show you the picture. I'll show you the picture. Two FBI agents came to see me today. See, this when they finished talking to me right here. Okay? This right when they finished talking to me. Okay, and the guy saw me. I had my phone in my hand, and he turned his head because when they finished, he said, "Okay, here, let me get a selfie of this." I got to remember that. I said, "I'm going." I told them. I said, "Man, I'm gonna talk about this on social media." They said, "That's fine." Okay, but we just trying to make sure that you don't have some information that we need. Or somebody, somebody trying to hurt Brian Glenn, or somebody trying to hurt the president. I said, man, you can't even get close to the president. As every time he come out of that White House, they close down the park. You can't even get close to him. So how is somebody going to threaten somebody that you can't even get close to? How they going to threaten him? And you can't even get close to him. Well, what about it? I said, I just saw Brian Glenn last week. Right now, I pointed right over there coming out that gate. I was going to the bathroom and I ran and talked to him. I said, I know who Brian Glenn is. Yeah, absolutely. I know him. And Margie Taylor Greene gonna drop him like a hot biscuit. Because she ain't loyal to nothing or nobody. She gonna drop Brian Glenn like a hot biscuit. You watch. You watch. She gonna drop him like a hot biscuit. Yep. So I'm just telling y'all, man, be careful. Be careful what you're putting out there. Because you never know who's watching. Okay? You never know who's watching. And like I said, you know, I never in my wildest imagination, man, of all the posts that I done posted some crazy stuff on social media. But that is what got the attention of the FBI. I told him, I said, if you want to investigate some shit now, I got something for you. If you want to investigate some stuff, I got some shit for you, buddy. I got something for you that you can look into. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. A whole lot of people get jammed up behind this, but that's it, y'all. That's it. There it is right there, man. 2 FBI agents paid me a visit today. That's it. Of a social media post. I said, well, I'll be damned. That shit is actually real. That's why I told him, I said, damn, that shit is real. I said, I've seen this on the internet, but never in my wildest imagination did I ever think that it would happen to me. And it did. It did. Okay? All right. So listen, Zelensky is going to be in town. He's in town tonight. That's why the traffic is all jacked up. And I'm going to get up bright and early in the morning and get down to the White House because they're going to have the Ukraine supporters down there. And I want to be a thorn in their side. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going down there because I want to be a thorn in the side of them Ukrainian supporters. I'm really gonna be a thorn. See, they messed around with me. The last time he was here, they tried to intimidate and bully me. Shoot, I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I put on James Brown. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. And sat right there in the middle of them, buddy. And they was like, how can he do that? And police said that's his right. I sat there, I said, I had some people from Israel a couple Sundays ago. I'm sitting there, and one guy actually came and stood right in front of me with his sign, trying to block my music. Okay? And I said, you know what? And their protest was over on the other. I went and got right in front of their protests. I got right in front of their protest. Said, okay, James Brown, here you go. With your bad self. and just sat there, and they was like, how can he do that? He can't. And the police said, that's his right. I said, see, when I was over there minding my business and the guy came and stood in front of me, see, y'all didn't say a word. I said, but blame him and point him out and say, if you want to blame somebody, blame him for me being here because he's the one that started. No, man, you ain't going to. I keep telling y'all, man, you had to teach people how to treat you. Okay? And sometimes that ain't pleasant. When you teaching people how you want to be treated, sometimes that ain't pleasant. That's not a pleasant feeling. But you got to do it. Okay? Folk can't come up and say any and everything they want to you and think it's okay. No, that's not okay. Because if you say something to me that I find offensive, I'm going to say something back. Let you know. I don't play that. I don't play that. All right? You're barking up the right tree, just like that little girl I tried to post this, but it wouldn't post. But let me show y'all this video. This girl, she worked for Sherm. She came over, and this is my second time. This is my second time being caught up with her. Wait a minute, hold on. Instagram. Well, I don't know what's wrong with my phone tonight. It's just not doing what it's supposed to do. Won't let me get in my videos, none of that. Okay. All right, let me do it like this. Ain't nothing working, boy. Okay, finally you came on. All right. Okay. Where'd it go? Where you at? Everything is, boy, this is jacked up. And I've been trying to post this video and it won't post. But I got about 85,000 views on, I got about 85,000 views on this video on Instagram. But I'll show. I get when this stuff ain't working right tonight. So, but I'll be back. All right, y'all. So be careful what you're posting on social media, because